Now, WLOX presents the Friday Night Football Showdown halftime update.
Proudly sponsored by Champion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Oak Trust Insurance Group.
And hello, everybody. Thanks once again for tuning in right here on the Friday Night Football Showdown halftime update. I am your host, Dylan Jones, coming on a little bit later than usual here tonight, but that's for a good reason. You'll see here just shortly. If you head on over to our website at WLOX.com as well as our mobile app, WLOX News Now, you can get all of the latest scores right here, thanks to all of our people here at WLOX. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a quick refresh just to make sure that we have all of those latest scores. And while that's happening, and let me tell you there, again, cannot stress enough, there's a lot going on, okay? But what we want to do real quick is we want to give you a recap at what we're looking at heading into this week. Here's our top 10 coast rankings. Ocean Springs still in that number 1 spot. We also have Greene County Hancock receiving votes just outside of that top 10 spot, looking to crack in with wins this week, hopefully. Stone's still sitting at that 8 spot. You'll see them in the game of the week. Here in a second, we'll get to that. Week 9 buys, we have the D'Iberville Warriors as well as the Resurrection Eagles. Both of those teams getting a rest week, so good for them, especially late in the season. You want to be able to be fresh for that playoff push. Last week, looking at our game picks, had a few that stumped some of us, especially Van Cleve versus Wayne County. Wayne County whipping out their first win of the season against the Van Cleve Bulldogs. That got every single one of us. You also had a few looking at that St. Stanislaus-St. Patrick rivalry game. Hemmed a few of us up there. 2 of us being able to pick St. Patrick and getting a win there. Every single one of us went 13-3 last week, believe it or not. Looking at our game of the week this week, the number 8 Stone Tomcats take on the Van Cleve Bulldogs in a very heated district. Tyler Bell explains more.
Week 9 is the dog days of the season. High school teams are banged up and striving to find consistency.
I feel like we're getting healthy. You know, we're banged up early in the year, and then we had some younger guys step up, honestly, carrying the football for us, and we feel like getting our quarterback back. We're in a good spot offensively. So right now it's just talking a lot about focus, making sure you're doing your job, no pre-snap penalties. The little things really do add up.
Well, I mean, I believe we had a good week of practice. This time of year is just, trying to stay healthy, and, got players banged up and trying to keep them ready to play on Friday night, as well as having a good practice. So it's tough at this time of year, and I think every high school coach goes through that.
Stone is in the driver's seat, sitting at the top of the region. After starting off the season without their starting quarterback, they're 2-1 since getting him back.
He's been back now 2 weeks, and we feel like we're kind of catching up where we left off. So offensively, we feel like we're starting to click at the right time.
Van Cleve, on the other hand, is sitting at the edge of the cutoff, fighting for their playoff spot. At this point in the season, every game is the difference between making or missing the playoffs.
It's easy to find consistency if you stay relatively healthy and the same guys are rolling in. But some years you got it. We've battled a lot of injuries this year, so new guys stepping up, and sometimes that consistency ain't quite there. But I've been really proud of the guys. They've been playing really hard, and we had a lot of close ball games that fell short. But I've been proud of the work they've been putting in.
It's our WLOX Game of the Week. 8 weeks down, 4 to go, and each team in control of their own destiny.
And you just heard Van Cleve head coach Kevin Fant there say they've been in a lot of close ball games. Unfortunately for Coach Fant, this one appears to be no different. 15-10, Van Cleve trails at halftime. Should shape up to be a good one there. Much as we expected out of this week's Game of the Week. But scrolling back to the top here, we begin by taking a look at the number 9 PRC Blue Devils. 1 week off a narrow victory over Gaucher. This week they hit the road for a date with the Pascagoula Panthers, who busted a 5-game skid with a 33-point win over Long Beach last Friday. Right now, Pascagoula is sitting comfortably in the lead, 35-0. Speaking of the Bearcats, they dropped 4 straight since a Week 3 win over Bay and face an uphill battle tonight. They host the red-hot number 4 Picayune Maroon Tide, who are searching for their 27th straight district win. Right now, at halftime, Picayune sitting in the driver's seat, 21-0. The George County Rebels are keeping their head above the water after a win over Jim Hill last week. Now they see the Hattiesburg Tigers, who have won 4 straight, including contests over Biloxi and Meridian. And this one may surprise a few. This one tied at halftime, believe it or not, 21-all. George County looking for the upset. As we mentioned earlier, a late game comeback drive ended in heartbreak for the Gaucher Gators last week. They hope to get back on track this week against the Hancock Hawks team, hoping to rebound from a 31-point loss at the hands of Picayune. Right now at halftime, Hancock 21-14 in the lead. The East Central Hornets are down, but they certainly are not out of the playoff race. You just heard us talk about how close this district here is. The Hornets have a chance to insert themselves back into the postseason picture as they clash with a Wayne County team 1 week removed from its first win of the season. At halftime right now, 14-14, those two teams tied. As for the number 5 Pass Christian Pirates, they're enjoying the school's first ever district championship after downing Moss Point last week. Congratulations to the Pirates. However, the season is not over just yet. They take a break from district play this week to face the West Marion Trojans, who just defeated Presbyterian last week, something the Pirates could not manage earlier this year. Their only loss of the year, believe it or not. Right now, though, at halftime, Pass Christian in the driver's seat, 21-7. They have the lead. While the district champ is already decided, seeding is still an issue. Both the Greene County Wildcats and the Moss Point Tigers hope to do themselves a favor with the win tonight. Right now, the Wildcats with the lead, 21-6 at halftime. Meanwhile, FCA versus the Bay Tigers. Both teams looking to make that playoff picture. Bay needs a win tonight to keep themselves alive. However, FCA looking to keep that from happening. Right now at halftime, 20-0, the Aggies lead it. The number 6 Poplarville Hornets are back in the win column after thrashing South Pike last Friday. Now they host the 0-8 Lawrence County Cougars, who have never defeated Pop Vegas despite meeting 6 times since 2017. Right now, Poplarville looking to keep that streak going. They're up 28-0 at halftime. After defeating rival St. Stanislaus last week, the St. Patrick Fighting Irish will likely see the playoffs for the first time since 2020. They take a business trip tonight to visit the Tylertown Chiefs, who beat the Irish 54-7 when the two met last year. We do not have an update on this game just yet. If you have an update on this game for us, make sure to drop a comment down below. We'll make sure to get that updated as soon as possible. Clinching the playoffs alone would be a miraculous accomplishment for St. Stanislaus. To get in, they'll need a win tonight against Presbyterian and another next week against district-leading West Marion. However, right now at halftime, they trail big, 35-0, Bobcats leading. After winning the first 5 games of the season, the number 7 West Harrison Hurricanes have dropped 2 of their last 3. Now they look for an upset over the number 1 Ocean Springs Greyhounds, coming fresh off of a bye week. And ladies and gentlemen, this one a whole lot closer than a lot of people here certainly thought that it would be. Ocean Springs up, but just by 1 score at halftime, 28-21. Meanwhile, the number 10 St. Martin Yellow Jackets have struggled mightily in district, posting a 1-3 record thus far. They see the Harrison Central Red Rebels tonight, who are looking for a break of their own after losing their last 5. At halftime, St. Martin up big, 27-7, Yellow Jackets with the lead. One could argue that no team on the coast is hotter than the number 3 Gulfport Admirals. They've won 4 straight and remain undefeated in district. Their eyes are now locked on the Biloxi Indians, who they meet for the 103rd time in one of the state's oldest rivalries. At halftime, though, Gulfport, big lead there, 28-0. They actually get a kick 6. Recover the missed kick, bring it all the way back just before halftime. So, something to keep an eye out there for. Indians got to be able to get back on the horse here if they want to make this one competitive. Finishing things off, though, we take a look at the Christian Collegiate Bulldogs, who continue their quest for their first ever 11-man victory. They have 2 more chances to do so, the first coming tonight against the Wayne Academy Jaguars, and it is not looking good. 39-0 at halftime, the Jaguars in the lead. So that'll do it for us here tonight. You can get all of those final scores later on tonight on WLOX, ABC, and CBS at 11:15 tonight. Can't wait to see you then. I'm Dylan Jones. Thanks for joining us.